we start here, right? So can you give an introduction of who you are?
Who am I? My username is Lonewolfancub. Some people know me as Cody. Some people know me as Lone Wolf. The name Lonewolfancub. Jesus, sorry. The name Lonewolfancub came from a Japanese tale I was a fan of about a samurai called Ito Agami. The story's called Lonewolfancub. That's where the name comes from. The reason there's no D in my name because the name was originally taken on Mixer when I started. That's where I started out. I was first at Mixer, started in January 15th, 2020. Was there for 6 months, was just about to make partnership. I had just applied for partner. They made the announcement that they were shutting down. So then bounced over to Twitch, had quite a bit of success over there for 2.5 years, and then had some events happen over there with their culture. And so I was pretty much over streaming, and I came to Kick just to kind of like finish it out. I had already made an announcement that I was going to be quitting streaming, and I just wanted to try the new platform out. And fast forward another 2 years later, I'm verified KCIP and been in Ice Poseidon's Hunger Games, Scavenger Hunt, Dream Hacks, and front page. Just been enjoying it ever since. And then type of streamer that I am, I was really you don't mind if I say the R word, do you? Because I say it quite a bit. I'll try and censor myself if you don't want that word said, but I say the R word quite a bit.
I think that word's okay. It's just the N word, F slur, those two that are a bit dangerous.
Okay. Well, to put it bluntly, I was a retard, and when I initially got into streaming, I thought that I was going to be a comic book / anime streamer, and that was going to be like my only content that I was going to do. And then I realized, like, sorry, my chat's playing blurps. Then I realized right off the bat that was a stupid, retarded idea because I wasn't being myself, number one. Number two, it constrained my content. So I just started being myself and kind of just turned into a variety streamer. And then once I got over to Kick, watching Ice and Sam Pepper, all those guys, I started doing the IRL thing because at the time, I don't work there anymore, but I did work at a glass shop and a vape shop. So I started streaming that while I was at work. The owner would let me stream my shifts working at the vape shop and glass shop. And from there, I kind of transitioned to, it's like pretty much 50-50 now. Like 50% of the time I'm at the desk, or the other 50% I'm out IRL, just going about doing daily life things, or going to, like, at first I was doing like battlefields and then doing like hiking trails and all kinds of just different locations. So yeah, so that's who I am. There you go. So I think I hit that.
So you streamed on Mixer, right? What was that experience like?
Mixer was like how I fell into it was completely by just dumb luck, because I was really turned off by streamers. I didn't ever want to do streaming. I was enticed to try streaming back in like 2017, 2018, right after my daughter was born. And as I said, I'm like an anime fan, and there is a creator, you probably know her. And I have no ill will towards her. So like, I just want to like state this right off the bat. But there was a creator by the name of Jenalyn Mowry, and she does cosplay, and she had been at a convention I had been at before, and I seen her on Twitch, and I tried to get some advice from her, and I'll just say it. I was soft as baby poo. I didn't understand the culture of streaming and like trolling and sarcasm and everything. And so I went in there and like asked a couple questions, like how would you do a setup and everything. And like people were clowning me in chat. So it was like a major turnoff. Didn't want to stream. And Mixer, how I stumbled on it was my Xbox. And I just hit the start streaming button. And then when I started on Mixer, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But within the first month, I had about a 10 viewer average after about like the first 30 days. And then from there, I met a creator by the name of Unicorn Gaming, who was a front page creator on Mixer. And the experience was awesome. Unicorn Gaming, being that they were like a partnered streamer there, they kind of took me under their wing, taught me a lot of different things, and it was really awesome. I didn't really have any negative experiences over there. I felt that the community there, as far as viewership and creators, were pretty solid. As far as staff, I never interacted with a staff member once in the 6 months that I was there. But within 6 months of being there, I had accrued over 2,000 followers in my first 6 months of streaming and being there. But the interface was very easy to use. It was very simplistic, especially to do it from the Xbox. And as long as you had a laptop, you were able to toggle with your overlays and whatnot. But it was very archaic at the same time, because like looking hindsight 5 years ago, like how it was on the Xbox, because it was the Xbox One, I think. There was no, like, the only way you could see your chat was you had to like pull it up on your PC or your laptop if you were streaming initially. Now I think it changed right before they shut down, but at that point I was always using my laptop and my tablet to see the chat. But times were definitely different 5 years ago when it came to content creating and Mixer. But it definitely left a foul taste in my mouth how they really pulled the rug from underneath of everybody. Like, I remember when the announcement was made, I was talking to one of my moderators because we were literally getting ready to do my first PC stream that day. And he was like, dude, are you watching the announcement, the live announcement? And I was like, no, why? What's going on? And he was like, they're shutting down in 30 days. And I was like, what do you mean they're shutting down? And he was like, there's going to be no more Mixer. And he was like, they said that you could go to Facebook Gaming, Trovo, or Twitch, something like that. And I didn't want to go to Facebook Gaming because back in 2020, like, in my viewpoint, Facebook was dying. So it was like, why would I want to go to Facebook? So yeah, that was my experience on Mixer. But like I said, the community was really good. As far as staff, never seen them. And the bigger creators that I had interacted with there were always nice. So I just didn't like how they just rug pulled everybody. It was pretty much like like an eviction notice. If you're a landlord, like, hey, 30 days, you got 30 days to get the hell out. I don't care where you're going, but in 30 days, you ain't going to be here no more. So, yeah, it was sucky.
So you didn't try Twitch? Like, when this happened, you didn't try Twitch?
No, initially I was just strictly Mixer. And then the day that announcement happened, I started converting everything over to Twitch. And I was scared to go to Twitch. And the reason was because of my previous experience, because I had a foul taste in my mouth. And then also, like, what other viewers and creators had told me on Mixer, they were like, you don't want to go there. It's a cult over there. There was all these things about like how toxic it was over there. And so it was like, well, I don't want to go over there. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I went because at that point I was already addicted and didn't want to stop what I had built, So I converted over that day. I think it was like June 21st or 24th, somewhere in there, 2020, when they made the announcement.
I mean, I showed people that on Twitch, right, the most amount of people streaming with this viewer count is 0 to 5 viewers. Like, these are actual stats that someone launched this thing where it shows every single bar graph, and the most is 0 to 5. So, like, I think it's really hard on Twitch. I just feel like there's just way too many people.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that was the other thing, yes. And this was 5 years ago. That was the other, was optics, getting optics on your channel. Like, you had a better chance of getting noticed at Mixer than you did at Twitch. Like, like hands down, like no way, no how, night and day difference, as far as the smaller creator, optics, being able to discover other small creators like like you said. If you were 0 to 5, like, forget about it, and when I went to Twitch, I was probably averaging at that point, I want to say I was bouncing between 25 to, and on like a really good day, 65, 70. So, 25 was the low end, high end was like 70. If that was a really, really good day. But coming to Twitch, even back then, 5 years ago, that was like, you still weren't going to get seen. You know what I mean? Like, unless you knew somebody that knew somebody, or you were just dumb lucky. Yeah. And that was, you definitely nailed that on the head for sure. And that was the same way 5 years ago. Like, nothing's different, in my opinion.
So you were in Kick at the very beginning, right? So
for the most part, yeah, I came in February.
So tell me your experience, what it was like.
So, yeah, okay. So everybody in chat, well, a lot of my community knows this, but yeah, this is going to be really funny. So my first experience with Kick was not Kick, but I thought I was on Kick. Because I had made my announcement at Twitch and was like, yeah, I'm done at the end of March. I was like, I'm going to try Trainwrecks and Adin's new thing. I was like, I'm going to try this Kick thing. So I'm going to multi-stream to it, for, this last month. And I was like, and then I may just fully go over there for my final streams. I was like, I just want to end on a positive note and try the new platform out, see what it's like. And I was streaming. I was using my phone, right? And I was streaming to a Kick. And it kind of matched the optics at the beginning because people were like, oh, don't go to Kick. It's gambling and boobies and sex. Is like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? So I'm on a Kick, but I was not on Kick. I was on KIK, like the sex app. Like,
no way.
And yeah, I went to that Kick. Yeah, this is a real story. You can ask my mods. This is a real story. And so, like, after a week of streaming there and like getting solicited numerous times by like these ogre beasts, that were I was getting solicited by a lot of ogre beasts that were like, you can be my sugar baby and I'll give you money. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is wild over here. And then like I stumbled across an ad and I seen that it was KICK. And I was like, oh my God, I've been streaming to the wrong thing this whole time. And like, I was promoting it. The worst part is that I was promoting it on my Twitch for like a week and was like, yeah, pull my Kick.
No
Kick
way.
Yeah, bro, it was bad. And then how I realized it also was why I looked into it was because somebody in my chat came in and they were like, dude, why are you on a sex app? And I was like, wait, what? Like, no, I'm on Kick. And they were like, dude, that's not the same Kick. That's a different Kick. And so, yeah, blundered it right off the start. So when I found the real Kick, day one, minus the sex app, day one was phenomenal. Like, I went into it with no grandiose expectations, anything like that. I think the day I started, I had like 35 to 38 followers. And I think it was like a 4 or 6 hour stream. And by the end of that stream, I was already almost to I think at that time it was like you had to have like 75 followers or 100 followers to get affiliated. And I think you had to have like 5 hours or 8 hours streaming. It was something like that. But within that first stream, I think my viewer average on that first stream, like I was like somewhere between 20 and 30. And I mean, the chat was moving nice, kept getting new follows, met a whole bunch of new people. And then at the end of day 2, I'd already hit the affiliation requirements. And then I think it was like 3 weeks after that, I had a staff member come in and I think I was playing Call of Duty, which I never play. And they put me up on the front page, and I remember it was right before my birthday. I think it was like 5 days before my birthday, so it would have been March, like mid-March, late March, right before my birthday. And it was like 2 days after that, because I was on the front page. I got verified, made verification, and it's been nothing but a positive experience, except for like I've had a couple of hiccups where I feel like I got put in the corner, but that was because I totally I was out of pocket. Like, I was warned by staff not to dox myself live on stream, and essentially what I was doing was I've realized I got to pump the brakes and everything because I have PTSD and anger issues. So what would happen is I'd get a troll to come in. They would say something about like my kid or my daughter, and I would essentially say like my social security number, my cell phone number, my house number. Yeah, I was going crazy, and I was like, "Come to my house. Like, you want to talk all this keyboard warrior stuff?" I was like, "I'm not about it." Like, just stupid, reckless stuff. And then I was warned by staff numerous times to knock it off. Like, they were like, "Knock it off. You're going to give us no choice." And then I got put in a corner, as I like to call it. I got put in a corner for quite a while. Like, no staff came around, no Eddie. Oh, I guess that was like the other thing. In my first month, Eddie came in twice and like hung out in my chat, talked to Eddie, which was really, really cool. And then since then, in 2 years of being here, he's been in 9 different times. Which, I know that some people he hasn't even been in once, which, I mean, I'm thankful for every time he's come in. Means the world to me that you have somebody that's an owner of a platform come into somebody who I'm a pissant. I'm like a pissant retard. And it's like, you come into my stream and say, "Hey, I appreciate you being here on the platform." Like, I've never experienced that at Mixer or Twitch.
Yeah, it's true. Like, Kick is a little bit more connected. Like, you don't feel like you're so far away from the staff. I think also the staff, you're not that far away. So, good question. RPG asks, what was the front page like back then?
At the beginning, the front page, I will say, compared to now to the beginning, was definitely way more of a wild card. Like, you definitely never knew what was going to be up on there, where I feel now it's a little more refined. In my personal opinion, now I don't check it all day, every day. I glance at it, I'll notice like if I'm up there or, somebody that I watch. But from the most part of what I see, there are a lot of regulars, but I still do see them putting people up that I never see or have never seen. But I would say in the earlier days, I'd say especially that first, I want to say 6 to 8 months that I was here. So I would say probably like late 2023. It was really kind of Wild West, and I think they cleaned that up just because of, issues where you had, I don't know what you want to call them, hot tub pool streamers, OnlyFans streamers, whatever you want to call it, titties plopping out, on the front page, and, and then it's up on Twitter, and, people peeing out windows, stuff like, if yeah, I think
she's in
definitely
Japan. Guys, he's talking about, the missus in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, which I've met her. She wanted to murder me in the Hunger Games. Thank God. Thank you. Shout out, by the way, if Kimmy ever watches this, Kimmy, you saved my life. I was dead to rights at that moment in time. Funny story about that. What I'm getting at is it was right before I went into heat exhaustion, but she was looking for us because we were the first team to eliminate somebody, and we eliminated Darius. And so she was looking for me because Paul thought that I had the riot shield, which our group had the riot shield, but it was Dr. Beats that had it, not me. And he thought I had it. So not only did he want her to go after me because of the riot shield, but because I talked a whole bunch of shit about Darius on my live while I was in the game. And so she wanted to nail me. And Kim gave us water bottles, and she was like, she gave us water bottles and then started pulling away and stopped. And she was like, wait. She was like, hey, do any of you guys know a Lone Wolf? Do you know where Lone Wolf's at? Have you seen Lone Wolf? And we all looked at each other, and Kimmy was just like, and we were like, no. And she was like, all right. And then drove off. I was like, yeah, Dr. Bullet. She would have nailed me, dude. I know, because knowing Xena and knowing how she is, dude, I would have got lit up. I would have been screwed. It would not have been a good day for me.
You would have been the fall guy. Guy.
Oh, yeah. She would have made me want to quit. And I mean, I was so exhausted at that point that, yeah, I wouldn't have been doing nothing. I would have just got lit up by paintball gun, and it wouldn't have been fun.
So wait, let's talk about the KCIP itself, okay?
Okay.
So do you do streaming full time?
Yes.
This is the only thing. You don't do any other side jobs?
No, I mean, occasionally. Well, I did do this one thing, but it didn't work out well. I learned a very hard lesson about don't go on bidding sites and try and flip stuff and bid on a bunch of shit that's out of your range, because then you get stuck with it. But yes, this is the only thing that I do. Yes, and if it was not for KCIP and including my community, because I'm not gonna I will be 10,000% obvious. I mean, it definitely. First thing I'll say is it definitely depends on a person's budget, needs, and what their expenditures are to live month to month. You know what I mean? It's feasible for me. Now, granted, I could go, even though my options are somewhat limited, and that's because I'm a convicted felon. I used to deal drugs and everything like that. So, that's over a decade ago. But, so when it comes to employment, some of my options are limited, but I could easily find a job and be definitely getting more than what I'm making right now, but I will say I am making enough to make it through each month. I'm making enough to take care of my daughter, take care of my animals, and what I need to take care of. But I also go off the saying that what works for me may not work for you, because as I said, everybody's expenditures are different, everybody's community is different, everybody's viewership's different, chat engagement, like there's a lot of factors. I've been on KCIP come March a year, and I will tell you this right now, I do not know what the formula is. I have a guesstimate on how it works, but yeah, I don't truly know. And I've talked to people where I think it was like EBZ and Girthy Gorilla. They had told me that they were making less than $2 an hour. I've talked to other people where it's like they say they've never made less than $5 an hour. I've talked to some people that are making upwards of over 20 an hour. It just seems to range on a multitude of factors, but
I mean, I spoke to Santa Maria and I spoke to some kick staff about it. Like, I have some idea on it, but like, let me just say this, right? There are different factors. One is the category that you stream in, what kind of streamer you are. Two is, as you said, chat activity, very important.
Very important.
3 is the viewership that's there, but they compare the viewership to the chat activity.
Yep.
4 is they look at this. What I'm gonna say right now is something they only launched a couple months ago, which is they look at new viewers that come to your channel and then become members in your channel. So they're looking at channels that can bring in actual kick viewers, And the last one is not all KCIPs are equal. That's right.
That's absolutely right.
That's just like, I'm telling you, I've seen people who are both at 100 views, but their KCIPs are completely different.
Yep. And the category thing is definitely, that is one thing I suspected for quite a while. Just because, I used to just mainly do desktop streams, and then it was like a few hours out of the week when I was working my part-time job at the vape blurb. And then when I was working my vape shop job, I definitely noticed differences. Like, oh, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like I had about I was cross comparing, you know what I mean? Which I think anybody would do. Well, hey, I had the same viewership on this day, about the same engagement. And, on this day, I had more, but on this day I had less, and it was the same length, same amount, same everything almost. What was different? Oh, the category. I was in IRL for 8 hours and I was on desktop for 8 hours. And when I was in IRL, I was making more than what I was when I was on desktop. You know what I mean?
True.
I think that's definitely a factor. And I think it should be that way, in my opinion, because if you're contributing to a popularized category or a hot category where that's where they're having the biggest viewer retention, that's where they're having the most new viewers come in, and you're contributing to that, I feel that's a reasonable thing. But also on the other end, and I'm sure you're going to understand where I'm getting at. Now, if you are a desktop streamer and you don't like doing IRL streaming, that doesn't mean that you still can't make good money, because let's say you're top 500 in the world on Marvel Rivals. I'm sure that Kick is some way going to reward that person for being a top player, because, as you said, bringing in new viewers, bringing in new followers, retaining those viewers, you know what I mean? So, but the category thing is a definite. But can you make a living off KCIP even on the smaller end? Yes, but it has to do with what your means are. I've done it for almost a year. So
I find myself, right, this is going to sound weird to you. I find myself that, like, when you get the front page, because you get that bump in the viewership, the KCIP absolutely bangs. But if you, on that day, you don't get the front page, I feel like you have to stream longer hours to get near the same amount.
I think there's definitely, and like I said, I could be wrong. You know what I mean? And this is all speculation. And I think Andrew even said it the one time where he was like, you know, we have a formula. It's almost perfected, but it's like Coca-Cola. You know, they have the secret recipe in a vault, and they're never going to give that recipe up. You know, I definitely think that there's definitely, because on the days that I have not been on front page, I definitely see a difference for sure. But, you know, could be a coincidence, but I think that definitely is a factor. But I mean, why not though? You know what I mean? If that is the case and that is really what's going on, that there's like a multiplier or a bump because you're on front page, I you know, to me, that I feel that's reasonable, because it's like, hey, if they're putting you up there, you know, why not give a little bit of a bonus for that day because you're up there for however long. But, you know, that's just my opinion. But in my observations, yes, it does seem like there's something there. Yeah, you can have them.
Do you ever get nervous when you are on that front page? Because you could be on the front page tile 1 and random people are just jumping in. Like for me personally, right? I've searched a lot of people. I'm usually hood. There's no way two ways around it. I usually sound hood. But when I go to the front page, I literally put on like a YouTuber commentator voice. Because in my head, it's like a presentation. Do you ever find yourself doing anything like that?
The only thing I think I change is when I'm on the front page is I do less spit in my mouth. Which, yeah, probably people are like, what the fuck did you just say? It's like a catchphrase that I've done for numerous years now, and I tell people spit in my mouth, and then I spit at the camera, like I spit a loogie right at the camera. So I do that less, but no, when I'm on front page, I mean, I definitely try and stray away from Marvel Rivals and Raging Out, because I have noticed I've been taken off front page immediately when I rage out on Marvel Rivals. So I just stray away from Marvel Rivals. But other than that, I mean, what you see is what you get. I definitely don't change too much. Like I said, the one thing I do change just because, like, I'm thinking from an investor standpoint. If they've got me on number 2 spot and a potential investor's coming in, and I'm like, oh yeah, thanks for the follow, guys, I really appreciate it. I'm like, spit in my mouth. You know what I mean? I feel like that's probably a bad look.
I've had that. You are right. Like, I was front page and I showed like a gooning streamer, if you get my drift.
Right.
Bang. Within 5 minutes, bang.
Bang.
So
yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, they took you right down, and that's what I and also, speaking of the front page, sometimes I've had staff come in, and they've been nothing but, you know, nice, kind, courteous, and they'll say, hey, you know, just so you know, you're up on the front page. Have a great day. So yeah, but on the front page, I don't ever get nervous. The one thing I do get annoyed with is sometimes the amount of trolls that come with it, depending. And I've noticed it's more so if you land on spot 1 through 4, there's a very good chance that you're going to have some sort of troll going on, and you also, at least in my experience, have a good chance of getting chat botted. That's something I've experienced a multitude of times, but it's only when I'm at that 1 through 4 spot there. If I'm at any of the other spots, I don't think I've really ever been chat botted or trolled that bad. But when that 1 through 4 spot, sometimes it can get a little annoying, but just is what it is. It's just part of the game.
So how do you deal with it? Because I understand you. I get that a lot. The trolls that come through and either racist or like they attack the channel. They say, "Oh, this channel shouldn't be worth being on the front page." So like, how do you deal with it?
I normally just say they have sausage fingers and they live in their mom or aunt's basement and have no penis and talk a little shit, and then either time them out or ban them. I let them sometimes. Well, it depends what they say in chat. If they say something racist right out the gate, I feel like it has to be addressed and banned immediately, because I feel like if I neglect that and entice it, I feel like I'm teetering on a slippery slope if staff is watching that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, well, why isn't he taking action against somebody that's clearly violating TOS right now by saying something racial, you know what I mean? So just to keep myself protected and everything that I've built thus far, that one's always, hey, we don't talk like that around here. Have a nice day, dude. Hope you get some help. But as far as other trolls like that, like if they come in and say, you're ugly, you look retarded, I mean, cool. I'll be like, yeah, you look retarded too, dude. You're probably sitting in your grandma's basement at 45 and still a virgin. Like, cool, dude. And then I let them like talk more shit so they can rack up my KCIP. And then I say, all right, bye. Time you out for a couple days. Come back later. Normally I time them out first, and then if they come back and still, it just depends. It depends on my mood that day. It's like Forrest Gump, box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Some days I just go ban happy. Other days it's just like, I'll time you out for 24 hours or 3 days, whatever it is. But normally I let them go, because the way I look at it is, hey, you're putting, thanks, man, all the shit you're talking, you're putting more money in my pocket, so keep it coming.
No, I get you.
Yeah, so.
Just sometimes it can be too much.
Yeah, sometimes I do agree. I think it's a person to person basis, and like with me, it definitely depends on my mood that day. Like if I'm having a good day and I'm vibing and everything, it doesn't affect me, not one bit. But, if I'm having a stressful day and it's like the last thing I want to see is somebody saying something about my kid, you know what I mean? And it's just like, really, dude, like that's where we got to go. We got to act like 12-year-olds right now. Like you can't come up with anything better. So.
That's a good.
But yeah, I definitely don't.
Question. That's a good question to go on to. So, do you find it like difficult to have your kid, and you have to look after your kid, and you got to stream at the same time?
No, I would say if I got into streaming like within the last year or two, most definitely I wouldn't know how to juggle it. But when I started streaming, she was 2. She's now almost 8. She'll be 8 in June. So she has grown up around it. And we have like a system, you know what I mean? And it works. And also, which I mean, she wasn't even to also say, normally she is not here on the weekends. And that's why you'll see me stream heavy hours from Thursday to Monday. And then you won't really see me on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's because that time is dedicated to her. But it can definitely, every person's different, every parent's different, every child's needs are different, every kid's different. But I have been fortunate enough that we have a good system. She knows that this is daddy's job. She's been around it. She's comfortable around it because she's grown up around it her whole life. Like I said, since she was 2. You know, like we even have a system in play because, as I said, I IRL stream, and like we'll go out and about, and I'll be streaming while we go to the store or go out and about. And she'll even say, like, I respect my child's boundaries. Like, my child will say, I'll say, hey, you know, is it okay if the camera's on you when I'm driving? And she'll either say, no, don't put me on camera. Or she'll say, yeah, I don't care. So I think, like I said, I think it's a case to case thing for when it comes to being a full-time streamer and having children. But I do know, as far as like when it comes to IRL content creating, like everything that's going on in Japan, if I did not have the responsibilities that I have right now to my child and as a father, I would be there in Japan. I was contemplating it. But, you know, the co-parenting relationship that I have with my it just wouldn't have worked. But, you know, it's kind of a give and take thing, you know, because coming up in the summer, I've got a lot of big, lengthy IRL adventures coming this summer and this spring. But it's already, you know, well advanced notice with my other, where we've already, you know, adjusted each other's schedules where, you know, my child will be taken care of. I can go on the road for 2-3 weeks and then come back, you know, for a couple weeks and then go back out again for 2-3 weeks. But like I said, I think it definitely just comes down to a case to case basis when it comes to having a kid.
Well, that's good though. At least you found a way to have a balance, I would say.
Well, I tell you what, it took me at least 3.5 years to find that balance, though. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I got it right off the bat. Like, it definitely took time to, balance a schedule that works for her, works for me, you know, works for my other, all that. So yeah.
So let's jump to this then. What do your friends and family think about you as the job of a streamer?
Oh, well, that's a really good question. I have no family. My whole family's dead. All I have is an uncle who barely have a relationship with. He lives in Queens, New York. He's a big muckety-muck dentist. He does dental implants and jaw realignment, bite realignment adjustments, and you know, he's a 1%er. He lives in a completely different world than me. He's really my only living relative. So my kid's my only feedback source on that, because I keep my circle very, very small. But the people that I do know, they think it's the coolest thing ever. They're definitely happy for me because they know that I'm happy. You know, it's like my grandfather always said, if you're happy with what you do, you know, no matter what you're making, as long as you're making a viable income and you can make it through life. Oh, sorry, it's a blur. But, you know, if you're doing what you like, you'll never work a day in your life. But my kid, she loves it. She thinks that, you know, her dad's a rock star. I'm not, but in her mind's eye, I am. And so that means the world to me. So, yes, I know you're hearing everything I'm saying.
No, I get you. I'm just listening. So wait, let me get back to this. So the reason why I asked you that question is because for me, it's the total opposite, dude. Like, my partner, she hates all of this world. She just thinks it's degenerate. Like, she absolutely hates streaming, hates me doing clipping, hates me doing videos, thinks all of this is cringe. So this is why I
I
asked you
think
that question.
no. I think that's a common thing because when I was with my ex, she did not like it. But towards the end, before we separated, she liked it. She respected it. She finally understood it, but it took her like 2 years to come around on it. Like she hated it for like 2 years. She wanted nothing to do with it. She was annoyed by it. So I understand that. I think that's just something, each person has to work on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So let's switch gears to what you do on Kick, right? You told me about the IRL streams and stuff like this, but you also stream games.
Yep.
And we're going to ask some hard questions here. The first question I
Okay.
have for you is, do you think gaming on Kick is working? Be honest.
I think IRL and just chatting and unique niche content categories are the future. I think gaming is dying. That's plain and to the point. It's there in the volume metrics if you look at it. You can look on any platform, unless you're a top 100, gamer in whatever game you're playing, and most of the time it's got to be a competitive game. It's got to be like you're the top 100 in Call of Duty, you're the top 100 in CS, you're top 100 in Fortnite. Or unless you're a creator that has been established and been in the limelight for a multitude of years. As far as gaming, I think it worked well when COVID was going on and everybody was at home. The whole world was at home, essentially. And that's why it worked then 5 years ago. But now I feel it's dying. I feel people want to watch the IRL content. They want to watch as well the DGen content. I feel gaming's dying.
So what do you do
It's a
then?
unique.
Because sometimes I catch you playing Marvel Rivals or you play Fortnite.
Focus. Go ahead.
I don't check the full stream, so I'm curious. Are you playing like Marvel Rivals for like 7 hours?
No. Normally I bounce throughout the day. It might be 2 hours of gaming and then 4 hours I'll go out, do something in IRL, or I'll go do something, around the property, or, one of the recent things I started doing now is I'm remodeling my rental unit. So like I'll do IRL content and then I'll come back, might have lunch, go into just chatting, and we've talked about this, and I pull up kind of similar to what you do. I pull up clips that are going on around, the content creating community. I also have a pretty big wrestling viewership base because of WWE from last year. Heavily stream that. I got a big following from that, so I have a lot of wrestling fans. So I might go over, what recently is going on in the wrestling world, things like that. And then depending on the chat and what we're talking about as well, I can end up in just chatting for quite a while. It just depends. It just honestly depends, but I try my best not to do gaming all day. I try and break it up.
Oh, that surprises me, dude. That really surprises me what you said. But is it that gaming is dying that has the effect on streaming, or is it like streaming gaming is dying? Which one do you think?
I think streaming gaming is dying, not gaming itself. Marvel Rivals is proof on. I think it's proof on how bad the competitive community was found wanting for something new. You know what I mean? Because of all the records it broke. But that's a great example because that's a reflection of the industry. You know what I mean? Even though that we're not talking about streaming, we're talking about active users on a competitive game. It had, they had, I think in the first 3 days or week, they had like 20 million players or whatever. It was some kind of ridiculous thing. So, I mean, I think that's a reflection of streaming gaming as well, because it's like, wow, look how many people came out the woodwork to play this new competitive game. Obviously, people were found wanting. And, but as far as streaming gaming, I think that it's slowly dying off. Like, and I think platforms like TikTok, doing the daily life, because that's some of the most popular content on that app is daily life content. It's people just sitting in front of the camera, not playing no games, no nothing. They're just talking about life, you know what I mean, and talking to their chat or doing whatever they do in their daily life. So the IRL content, and also, as much as some people may not like it, the DGen content too. You know what I mean? It's definitely a shift, and it's definitely the future of the industry. It is.
I mean, if I compare the IRL on Twitch, which is very safe and cookie cutter, I even think that is dying. And I feel like the IRL is still growing, is because people can see things that they can't do in their real life. For example, Shuvi running into cops and dudes putting barriers in front of police and getting arrested in front of him, for example, or like Neon inside a car crashing with squeeze bends. I feel like it's not just degen is the right word, but like it's also like there is a lot of negative stuff that happens inside of IRL that you can't do in your real life. Otherwise, you risk harm or jail or something. So
yeah. Well, like perfect example. This morning, I took my kid to the donut shop, and my one chatter was going a little ham because I was talking about how they screwed up the order, didn't get my kid's order right. And I was like, you guys watched me say that order 5 times, and then they're using the voice, the TTS. And he's like, fucking bitch can't get your order right, stupid bitch. And then like, they can hear this, you know what I mean? Like they can hear my speaker going off. And like it could be that easy that they can trespass me and call the cops. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it definitely. I think I agree, but I disagree. I think that IRL is definitely the future, the just chatting and everything. And there definitely is that want to watch things that you're not going to get to experience in life. But I also think, in my opinion, my personal opinion, people also like to watch those creators where they could see themselves. And now this is a case to case basis. But they also like to watch those IRL creators where it's like, oh, I could see him as my next door neighbor. I could see running into this guy at the bar and having a drink with him. He's interesting. I want to watch him. You know what I mean? I can relate to this guy. But it's on a viewership basis as well. But yes, I do agree that there's always, and I think that's just human nature. I think there's always going to be that allurement to the taboo, and also the unexpected or the left wanting content, where it's like most of us are never going to be multimillionaires like Ice. So a lot of people like to watch him because of his lifestyle. You know what I mean? Same with Adin, all those guys. And they want to see what it's like. But yeah, I agree with it.
For me personally, I do agree with RPG. Like, I feel like the gaming world is also crashing. There's a lot of like similar kind of games that are coming out, and games cost a lot of money. Like, let me give you an example, right? When I bought the PlayStation 5, I thought we would have more games to play. We have less games. If you look at the PlayStation 4, we actually have less games to play, and this stuff is costing more money. Yep.
I do agree with that. I know for the PS5, I got it when it first came out, and that's a great example. It took over a year for, I think, PlayStation 5 to have over 30 original titles. I think it took almost a year and a half for it to have 30 original titles, which is, you compare PS2, PS3, PS4, it wasn't like that back in the day. And even RPGs like you just hit on, I do feel the industry is definitely different. And I also think deadlines is a massive thing. And that's why we get all these massive flops and failures and unfinished games. Cyberpunk was a great example of a game that was rushed because it was already like 7 years in the wait and it still needed a lot of time, and they released it and that game was broke for like, what was it, a year, 2 years almost?
Yeah,
now it's a great game.
Crazy.
But
I just started playing it. Like, I think I've put about 14 hours into it and I'm loving it. I can't see the problems.
Yeah, well, but you're getting the that's the thing. You're getting the finished product. I remember the day the game came out, unless you had the PC version, the console version was broken. Like, the people were mass returning it. It was headlines everywhere. And even on PC, there was all kinds of game breaking bugs. I mean, it was atrocious. It was just like Witcher 3. Witcher 3 was another one that, released, and it was atrocious when it first came out. But if you play Witcher 3 now, it holds up like Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Like, people are still playing that game, still streaming that game, and it's still loved by a massive fan base. But a lot of these games, like, I know people might like this, might not. Avowed is a great example. They hyped up that Avowed game. I've seen games that are 3 years old that look better than that game.
Facts. I've been watching Shroud play it, and like sometimes he goes through the walls and stuff in that world.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I was playing it the first day it came out, and I was like, guys, look, I'm like, I was running through the ground, and then sorry, I have a blurb going on here. I fell through the map just randomly. Like, my dude was running, fell infinitely through the map. Like, I had to shut the game down completely and restart it because my dude was infinitely falling through the map. Pretty sure we got a clip of it too.
Yeah, I get you. That can be a crazy problem. But you said, like, about competitive games. Have you tried to stream single player games?
Yeah. I'd say I play, when it comes to gaming, I play a healthy mix of competitive single player, or campaign, as a lot of people say nowadays. A lot of people like to use the term campaign. It depends, what it is. But yes, I do play single player. I guess, well, no, you couldn't consider WWE is not a single player because I play competitive on that. Monster Hunter's multiplayer. So, I mean, I do play single players.
How do you play? Because I played WWE, I think it was 12. So it was a long time ago.
Okay.
And the online is so garbage because there's people who cheat. Like, there's people who make like a character that can do like a kick that's like a glitch kick. So they just keep, like, the match starts and they just keep doing the glitch kick across the screen. Oh my God.
Well, this year's WWE is supposed to be groundbreaking. Supposedly they're supposed to have a handle on that this year. Last year it was infested pretty bad starting day one. With the hackers, but we'll have to wait and see. But they have a new online mode, competitive mode, that's comparable to NBA 2K's, and I mean, it is 2K Sports that's making it. So we'll see what happens. But as long as you don't run into a hacker, it's fun. But if you run into a hacker, which that's a problem that my community knows, everybody's a hacker. Everybody's a hacker to me when I play competitive games. If I die, it's like, that dude's a
that's true.
hacker.
That's true. I didn't die fairly. With him, he must have cheated.
Yeah, he must have cheated. Yeah.
Then let's switch to an interesting topic. Streamer friends. Do you have any streamer friends?
Yeah, I've got a lot of, I've got quite a bit of streamer friends. Quite a bit. I mean, I consider them friends, yes.
Can you give us some examples and like how you met these people?
Florida Boy, I'm cool with. Florida Boy, I met at the, what was it, Hunger Games. Then I was at Project Kick Ass with them, and then after that, I'm linked up with them in DreamHack Atlanta when I was at Vagabond's hotel, and also at DreamHack the whole weekend. So I'm thinking like straight content creators that people would know. Dr. Beats, another one from Hunger Games. Burkle, another one. Double Duty, he does all the strongman stuff. He was on the front page program for that. I would consider me and Leah Way. She's the original Phase 1, I don't know what you call that, fitness creator. Yeah, there's like a bunch of people that, I mean, I would consider associates or friends, you know what I mean? Like, I have a good relationship with them, you know what I mean? Like, I could definitely, you know, reach out to them for the most part at any time. Some of these people, I have their personal numbers and I contact them behind the scenes. Others, you know, we're not at that level, or I just don't want them that close to me. And it's nothing personal. It kind of just goes into, if you've seen Ice say it on his stream the other day, he keeps his circle very small. You know what I mean? And I think that's, you can have tons and tons of associates, I feel, in this game, but I think to be successful in this game, you definitely need to have a lot of good professional association relationships. But as far as your circle, your people that, you know, you could share anything with, I feel you have to keep that circle small, because if you make that circle too big, you open yourself up for getting a knife in the back at some point or another. And that's me, and that's my experience I've seen in this industry more often than not. You know, the people that have those gigantic circles, it normally does not end well. There's a bunch of drama that comes with it, and that's the crap that you see on Twitter. You know what I mean? All that drama shit. So that's my personal opinion. But as far as people that are streamers that you've never heard of, like a lot of my mods and my admin, she's been my admin and been with me since, was it 2021, March 2021. And my other admin, Hunter, he's been with me since my second week of streaming. I consider them friends, as well as my mod BMF and Redcon. I consider friends because I can talk with them privately about, you know, non-streaming things, which there's not very many people I talk about those things with or feel comfortable enough, because like I said, in this industry, in my experience, more often than not, information in this industry is sometimes the most powerful thing you can have. And if somebody has too much information, whether it's good or bad, it can be weaponized against you. So
yeah,
that's
for me personally, it depends what you're doing. Like, I think because of what I do, dude, I've had dramas upon dramas upon dramas. I do try to find people that I think can be close to me, but it's hard. I think, like, because I constant, like, let's say someone says, okay, I'm your friend. Hey, dude, I'm your friend. Then maybe something happens, like a clip
Yep.
where it's a negative clip. Then I
Yep.
have to show this clip because I can't only show the good, the positive, because there's the other side that's going to say to me, "Oh, you cheating, you biased." So then when I put that negative clip, the streamer will just lose their mind.
Yep. Yep. And you're just doing your job. You know what I mean? You're just, and yeah, that's, never personal relationships and work, because for you this is work. You know what I mean? This is what you do. For me, it's work. So when you're mixing business with pleasure, it doesn't matter what you do. Normally it does not end well or go well 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, in April I'm gonna be doing this full time, like how you doing it. So it's like, yo, that's gonna be crazy for me though, because like going into, and like let's say the chat one day is crazy. Like you said your mods are good, right? But is your
Yeah.
chat sometimes crazy? Because like my chat sometimes, they, not all of them, but some of them actually like to press my buttons. They like to see me crash out. And they take turns. Like a different person will make me crash out each time.
Yeah. 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 I have people like that in my community that sometimes they just want to get a crash out clip on me, or me just crash out. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a guy doing it right now. Oh man. So wait, let's talk about. Okay, I have to ask difficult questions too. What's your opinion on botting?
Botting's always going to be, since starting back in 2020 and being on 3 different platforms, Mixer, Twitch, Kick, botting seems to be a losing battle. It's going to happen no matter what they do. It's kind of like, I forget who said it, but it was like the best example I think I've ever heard is whack-a-mole. Sorry, that was another stream notification. It's like whack-a-mole. You take 20, 30 of them down, 20, 30 more are just going to pop up. And I feel like it's always going to be an issue in the industry. In my opinion, going from 3 platforms, being at Mixer, Twitch, and Kick, I feel Twitch is probably the worst out of the 3. In my opinion, in my personal experience with bots. But it doesn't matter what platform you go to, they're going to be there regardless, whether you like it or not. And the only thing that you can do is, at least here, compared to Twitch and compared to Mixer, I feel we have a very good line of communication to support, which I love. You can hit that little kick button in the creator dashboard. And you can normally, at least in my experience, I normally get a hold of somebody within the first 5 minutes of messaging them like, hey, so I don't know if my views are right. Something seems suspicious here. Chat doesn't seem right. They're always pretty quick and responsive. So, I mean, that's the best thing you can do. But I think that botting, unfortunately, is going to be something that always comes with the industry.
I want to ask you this question. Are you ever worried of becoming like EBZ? Because like EBZ got hit with people botting him, and then they dropped his KCIP to $1.
I always report, like, perfect example. It was like last week, there was 3-4 different times when I went live. I went from 0 to over 100 within the first 30 seconds, 2 minutes. I message support immediately and I report it. And so I feel that, in his case, in my personal opinion, that's never happened to me. I feel in his case, he wasn't reporting it because he had to have known, you know what I mean? In my opinion, that something didn't seem right. And I mean, if you're not reporting it and something's out of the normal, I mean, 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like, you gotta be on it. You know, I want to tell you the story too, right? When I first started streaming and I did get hit by it, what I would do is I would turn off my stream and I would change your stream key and come back and it would clear them, right? But listen to this. After speaking to Kick, because there was one day, as you said, I went to the front page. Like, I'm not calling out anybody, but I'm just saying what happened. When I was on the front page, I was talking about Sam versus Action Man. Boom! Magically, I get 11,000 viewers. So I'm like, okay, we need to fix this fast.
I've been hit with more. I got hit with over 30,000 the one day. Yeah.
So
that was fun. Let me tell you.
So I went offline, right? And then I changed it, and then I came back and it fixed it. But Kick's staff actually shouted at me. They said no. They said you should have stayed online. You should have told us, and then we will fix it. So that's what I do now.
Yep, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you should do. That's what they've told me. They said anytime you think something's funky going on, message us. That's why that button's there. So.
Then
but
also,
I think that... Go ahead. I
also want to talk about this. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. But if you look at his stream, he has these he has not notifications, but he has these like a list of things to hit subs. Can you explain what are these?
Oh, the sub goals? They're just stupid, retarded things because I'm a retard.
So 1 sub gets you a name on an anniversary shirt. 2 subs is tomato time. So you throw tomatoes at yourself?
No, I eat tomatoes. I vomit when I eat tomatoes. I hate tomatoes. Okay. Yeah.
3 is Cub does my nails, so your kid does your nails, pretty much. I get that. 10 subs, you get your name tattooed on his leg. Can you show... I don't want to be too graphic with you. Can you show me your leg? Everyone's going to say I'm a fucking fool. But can you show me your leg? I just want to see how many tattoos you have.
I have over 50 names. I think it's over 60 now. And I still got to do 2 more. I'll probably do it tomorrow, actually. I have Eddie on there. Ice is on there. That's how I got into the Hunger Games, because I submitted a video and I told him, I said, you put me in the Hunger Games, I'll tattoo your name on my leg. And he was like, done, you're in.
Yeah. But don't you think 10 subs is only, what is that, $50?
It used to be 20 subs, and it'll go back once this month's over. It'll go back to 20, but because last month was my 2-year anniversary on Kick, and then this month's my birthday month, so I figure I'd just do a special for it, but then it'll go back to 20 after that. I'm going to see if I can get away without violating TOS here. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold that thought. 1 second. I'll switch to shorts real quick. Hold on.
Y'all never gonna let me live this down.
I'm hungry.
Y'all never gonna let
All
me
right, give me 1 second.
Because this is the part that I found curious, like it's something different than what he does. I was just curious why, Shut up, JJ. Shut up. Dude said get your lotion. Oh man, what is up? Vanilla, Redcon.
Get your lotion, baby.
Shut up, JJ. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. For W guys too, I saw some of you guys going over and
All right.
following too.
We're going to try this. I don't know. Let me see here. If I put my leg out like that and tilt it. Fuck. You can kind of see it. Yeah, it goes. Gotta like
Get a
move
little
my
bit
hand
closer.
away.
Though. It's kind of like blurring. It's kind of blurring.
But yeah,
Dang,
we're on the
so
second
many,
row. The game
so
plan
many
is to try and get it
names.
to wrap all the way around.
Yo, that is
that's-
crazy.
That's the game plan.
Okay, I have so many questions, right? Here's question 1. Why do all of this?
You only live once. Why not?
Yo. But are you a tattoo guy? Because you got tattoos on your hands and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I'm covered. Yeah, I'm covered.
Clips, I want you to do that 10 get our name and shut up. My thing is, I'm scared of needles. I don't like needles.
I do it myself live on stream.
Wow. Platinum, this is Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf. Whoa.
Yeah, I do it live on stream. I do it. I think it's like body. They didn't have a body art category originally, but I put it under body art category when I do it.
But when you go out, let's say you go swimming or something, and you're in your shorts, and all these names are there, does anyone ever ask you, what's all these names?
No. Haven't yet. Haven't had anybody ask me yet. It's a lot of fucking names, but I mean, here's my prerogative on it, and I think it probably has to do with my life. You know, I've been in jail. I was a heroin addict. You know, the person I was 10 years ago, I would rob you at gunpoint if you had sneakers I wanted. I was not a good person. I changed my life around completely. Very fortunate to have made it out of the lifestyle that I lived in the way that I lived. Then after that, sorry, my cat's being a psycho. Becoming a father, changed my life around completely. You know, not being on drugs, living a clean life, and then getting diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer, put my perspective on life that, you know, the way I look at life is, well, you only get one go at it. Don't know if we get another go. So I just want to try and experience things and do things as much as I can in life. And, you know, hey, if I ever fail at this streaming thing and it all goes to shit, or, platforms get shut down and I just don't have it in me anymore, I can look back on it, how many ever names are going to be on there. And the way I look at it is those were people that, yeah, of course, number one, some of the people just wanted to do it just to do it, to be like, ha, got my name on you. Other people genuinely did it because they're supporting my dream. They're supporting my content. They're supporting me as a creator. And the way I look at it is permanently, I have strangers from all around the world who have never met me in person. Some of them may probably never meet them in person. And those are people that supported mine and my daughter. Because like, this is how we make a living. So, it's pretty cool when you think about it that way, at least to me. It's something that I can look back on and be like, wow, that's how many people, donated money to support my dream, to support my career. So
I would say to you, W, for like turning everything around, so you did really, really good with there's only a few people I know on this platform that I met that are chill. So I'm shocked to see what you're saying. Because Lando, Pablo Ventura, you, Gertie Gorilla. There's a lot of people that aren't chill. So I'm shocked on what you said,
Yeah.
And also, somebody said in the chat, they respect you for being so open, with your past and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. Here was my outlook on, as I said at the beginning, if you caught it, originally I was going to be this anime comic book streamer. That was it. That was going to be the basis of my content. But I realized, 2-3 months into it, number one, I was constraining myself. Number one, I wasn't being myself. And I found out organically with my viewership and just viewers in general Not, and like I said, this isn't for everybody because, you know, it just depends. But I felt in being completely open and honest with who I was, it attracted viewership more. The viewers enjoyed me more because of my candor. And there's also been viewers that are like, oh, you were a fucking ex-heroin addict? Like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I ain't watching you. My brother died from heroin. You know, I've had people like that, and that is what it is. You know what I mean? And I don't hold any ill will against, you know, people's perspective on that. They're allowed to have that perspective. You know what I mean? But I have found when you're honest in this industry to a point, people can't weaponize things against you. For example, if I try and hide it and be the chock full positivity guy, which disclaimer right there, nobody can be 100% positive all the time. I say that. It's literally impossible. You wouldn't be a fucking human. Like, you know, but we can try. But if I'm sitting here trying to be a character of 100% positivity and, you know, I do no wrong, and then 2 years down the road, I piss off some troll, and I want to keep it hidden that, oh, I'm an ex-Steven junkie drug dealing piece of shit, and then they find my criminal record and fucking slap it all over the internet. Well, now I've got a problem because I've portrayed this image that I do no wrong, and I'm this, you know, saint. You're just you're opening up a can of worms.
You know, right? I'm not shooting like shots here, but you know there was a guy that got exposed by multiple clippers just a couple of weeks ago, right? Like this guy had a record of like.
Is it the pedophile one?
Yeah. So he did exactly what you said. Like he was the positive, really positive dude. And then so I understand what you're saying. Now, okay, you can tell me no if you don't want to talk about it, if it's too personal. But this chat now is obsessed when you said you used to do heroin. They are asking, how did you like get clean? How did you get off from all these things?
How did I fall into it? Like,
no,
is that,
how do you
like?
Actually, let's teach us. There's two questions there. How did you get into it? How did you get out of it?
Okay, how I got into it, I was going to my second university. I was attending Clarion University of Pennsylvania. I was a full-time college student. I was engaged, and I was living on off-campus housing. I had a condo, and I got grants that paid for all my college. So I didn't have to pay for anything other than books and then my cost of living. And I was being a lazy fuck, didn't want to get a job. So I got those good old American student loans and maxed those out every semester. So I got like $7,500 in refund check every semester, which would pay for my rent. And it would pay for my books and then whatever the hell I wanted to buy, TVs, video games, stupid, trust me, stupid, don't ever do it. But anyways, that still wasn't enough money, and going to college full time and then, you know, having to keep up with the lifestyle I had started living became hard, and I ran into, there was in the local area, there was a little flea market on the weekends. And I went up there one time. I ran into a buddy of mine because I'm originally from North Side Pittsburgh, inner city of Pittsburgh, you know, ghetto. And I ran into a buddy of mine's uncle. He had pain pills and ecstasy. He was like, you know, young blood, can you get rid of this? You know, you go to college, you go to the university. I said, I got tons of people I can get rid of this for. So I started selling pain pills for him and ecstasy, and I started dabbling into it. I was getting high on my own supply. I was making ridiculous amounts of money, and I don't know, like 5-6 months into it, he came over, met me at my condo the one time. My now ex, she was visiting her mom for the weekend, so it was just me and him. He brought in a brick of heroin, which is 50 bags of heroin. He threw it on the table. He says, "You know what this is?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "You got customers?" I said, "Absolutely," which I did. And we taxed the fuck out of them because it was the middle of nowhere. We were getting it like $1 or $2 a bag, and we were turning around and selling it for 20, 25 a bag, 200 to 250 a bun, 1,000 a brick. Sometimes we'd cut a deal and do 850. But I was slaying the market out there, making ridiculous amounts of profit, and it gets to your head. And being that I was already getting high on the pain pills at that 5-month point, I was using a good bit of my profit getting high on my own supply. So I had convinced myself that if I start snorting heroin, I would use less and it would cost less money. And I would, that was the game plan in my mind, but it didn't work out that way. Next thing you knew, within 6 months, I'm snorting over 50, 60 bags a day, 10 bags at a time. And then one thing led to another. And then next thing, 6 months into that, I was IV using. I mean, shooting up every vein that I could. And, that went on until, what was it, like 2013? They raided, I was visiting my grandparents, and I remember like I was half asleep and high, and I heard pounding on the door, and I knew that it wasn't a good knock, and I heard my grandfather say, "Cops are here for you," and I had a couple bags in my pocket. And I tried to slide them into the couch, but as soon as my grandfather got to the door went flying open. They were called CNET. It was Clarion's narc.
Pause. How did they find you? So they went and found like a dealer or something. Like, how did they link to you?
Somebody had snitched me out. Somebody had done a controlled buy on me.
Oh shit.
And then they wanted me to flip, and then I didn't flip. But my attorney was very, very good, and I was very lucky that, one, the criminal informant didn't show up to testify. Two, the video surveillance evidence that they had on me, and that's all that they had on me. It was definitely me. I mean, I admit it. I was definitely me, but you can't double jeopardy somebody. I had my hood up. The video, now mind you, this is 2013, so video quality was dog shit. It was shot from over like 100 yards away, and the defense's argument was that I have these tribal tattoos and I had a black hoodie on. The defense's argument was, or the prosecutor's argument is that it was indisputable that it was me, because you could tell when I was reaching my arm out that you could see the black tattoo on my arm, the distinctive tribal. And I mean, it was so pixelated, and, thank God for my attorney. The only thing that they could get me on was when they arrested me, I had those bags on me on the possession. So they dropped all the other charges, but still got me on the possession. I got put on parole, and then I went on the run like 5 months later. I relapsed, went on the run, and they nailed me again. And then that time I had a stolen check on me, a whole bunch of other shit, and they knocked my head in. Became a convicted felon, but I was a fugitive for almost like 10 months, and I was hiding one. I was hiding one county over. I was one county over. It was 40. I was 45 minutes away from where I was wanted at. And where I was trapping out of and selling drugs, you walked out the front door, 30 feet across the street was the local police station. And I literally walked to the sheets every morning to go get coffee, and I would wave hi to the cops. And I would have over 1,000.
Like, for me, this is difficult to understand because you come across as this chill, like, this chill, relaxed dude. But the way you're describing it is like a totally different person.
Oh, you are. You're a
Totally
totally different person. When you're on those drugs, man, you're. I don't care who you are. You are a different person, man. Like you're not even the same person. You're not. You'll do things that you never thought was even imaginable. Like I robbed so many people, it's ridiculous. Like I would go and sell drugs to somebody, and I would scope their house out when I would come inside, and I'd be like, I would build rapport with them, 5-6 deals. They would trust me enough when they would go and use their bathroom or something, and I would know their schedule. I would unlock a front window in their living room on their porch, and I would unlock it while they're in the bathroom. Now, they have no clue that their window's unlocked unless they check it, which normally they didn't. That was one of my go-to ways of doing things. And then I would wait for them to go to work or do whatever they would normally do and wouldn't be at their home. I would give somebody a couple bags, drive me over to this location, don't ask no questions. I would climb through their window, take their TV, their consoles, their stereos, jewelry, whatever, get another come up. More money, more drugs.
Dang. That is bad.
Yep.
That is bad.
I was not a opiates. Opiates are the worst, man. I think out of any drug that is out there in narcotics, I mean, all narcotics are bad in my opinion, but opiates are the most mind-altering, personality-altering drugs that is out there. Like I said, the depth just to not be sick and make sure, because my mindset was always, as long as I have my drugs and as long as I have money to get my drugs, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm gravy, and I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that continues.
So, like now, do you do like an advocate? Maybe do you ever talk to people that are on drugs or like try to steer anyone like in the right lane?
For a little bit back in 20, because my daughter was born. So it would have been 2016. Once I got out and everything, I went through a recovery program. It was like a year process almost. Like they made me go to an inpatient, which I was already dead sober for months on end. Went to an inpatient for 90 days, then went to a men's halfway house in the middle of fucking nowhere. I went there for like 4 or 5 months, and then I was released to a 3-quarter house. Had to stay there for 2 months, and then I was finally able to go live on my own again. But during that process, I had a drug counselor through that company that I did the programming for in the rehab, and he happened to be the dean of students for the psychology department at St. Francis University of Pennsylvania. And I was kind of a rare commodity, I guess, that came through there, because most of the guys that came through on my program didn't have a college background, didn't have, and some of them didn't even have a high school education. And we built a good professional relationship, and he trusted me enough. He wanted me, it was kind of like a Scared Straight seminar. 3 different times I went and spoke during 2016. Once in the spring semester, summer semester, and fall semester. I would essentially go in. It would be 300 to 400 students that were either first years or second years at the university. And essentially it was just like a drug awareness thing. I would share my story and explain to them the awareness of addiction, and that just because you're in college and you've got your education paid for, your family's paying for it, or, you've got a scholarship, don't think that this doesn't go on. And yeah, so I did that a couple times. But as far as awareness, like I said, I'll talk about it on stream if somebody brings it up, if the topic comes up. But what works for me may not work for somebody else. Like, I don't do no NA or anything like that. I have my personal opinions on that program. There are things that are good. There are things that are bad. But what works for me may not work for somebody else. You've got to find your own way to stay sober, and it has to be a want too. You have to want to be sober. It comes down to a choice thing. You either are or you aren't. End of the day.
But here's the thing, right? There was this actor. I can't remember his first name, but his name was Hoffmay or something like this. This guy was in the Mission Impossible movies. This guy did heroin and then he stopped. And then he did it again. And he died.
Yeah, Seymour. Yeah, Seymour Philip Hoffman. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Were you ever scared of... Did you have any episodes?
There was only one time I think I was close to ODing. There was only one time, and I think this chick gave me a hot shot. I honestly think she gave me a hot shot because it was smaller than the normal amount I would take. My tolerance was through the roof, and she set it all up for me. And she had been trying to get my connect and you know, be my girl and everything, and I wouldn't give her my connect. I wouldn't, you know, I pretty much was just using her, and I think she gave me a hot shot. But I was fading in and out real bad. It was the worst shape I'd ever been in. Like, I could not keep my eyes open for the life of me. I could barely walk. I remember I felt like overheated. I think I was definitely close, but I think that's the closest I ever came. I used for almost 2 years, and I lived by myself at that point when I was fully in it. And I mean, I was doing over 100 bags a day, and I never, you know, I was pretty cautionary on how I did it. But yeah, I was on the fortunate end. But I will say, right before, actually the day I got arrested, my feet, and it was like for 2 weeks, my feet had blown up like a balloon. And it's just like a small little note. I found out later that was onset signs of congestive heart failure. And that would have made sense because that's something that can happen from massive overuse of opiates. You can put yourself into heart failure. And like the day that I got arrested, I remember when they got me to the jail, they were like, "What's wrong with your feet?" And I was just like, "Oh, I don't know. They've been like that for a couple weeks." So, yeah, it's, I can say that everybody I ran with and everybody that I associated with when I lived that life, we'll say there was 50 people. There's probably 5 of them, and 2 of them are still dealing. They don't use, but they deal. And 3 of them got clean and made it out. All the rest, majority are dead, and the others are currently in jail.
Dang. But I said you did good to get out of it and to get clean, and then now you have something else to keep you occupied on. I would say so.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, it's a real thing, man.
But you're an example. You're a good dude. You're an example that, look, you can actually turn it all around.
You can. I'll be honest, when I was sitting there in jail and I was like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Wait, pause. Let's go back to that. I'm asking dumb questions. Right? Remember something. I don't live in America. I don't know. All I know is what I see on movies and TV and shit. What is jail like?
Sucks. It's like being a child all over again and being told when you can. It's worse than being a child. Like you're told when you can pee, poop, when you go to bed, lights on, lights off, time to eat, time to take your meds, do this, do that, shut up, sit down. You don't, you go in the hole.
Okay, but is it really like how we see in the movies? People get shanked and there's fighting all the time.
People will test you when you first get in there, but the best way of that not happening is have your paperwork out, ready, and available. Because 99.9% of the dudes, when you get on the block, are going to be like, what are you here for? They want to see paperwork. They don't want to hear word of mouth. They want to see your paperwork. And if you don't produce paperwork, you're a pedophile. And if you're a pedophile, it ain't going to be a good day for you. Might be your last day.
Yeah, I heard about this. That's
a very
sin, man. You know, so
that's the very first thing.
I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for them, dude. I don't feel sorry.
No, I don't either. The second thing is you'll normally have your block boss or your pod boss. Just keep your head down. Don't cause no waves, and especially normally when shanking happens or, you know, the R word, normally why that happens is because somebody's bad money. And if you're wondering what bad money is, that's what they called it when I was in. Bad money is you don't got no money on your books, or, you know, they're gambling, playing cards, playing dominoes, whatever it may be, betting on the fucking football games, you know, doing a football poll, whatever it may be, and you put up soups, you put up commissary money, because commissary is currency in there. That is like cash in there. Yeah, soups, ramen, deodorant, all that stuff. That is like having cold hard cash. Okay, if you put stuff up and then you owe and you don't pay up, that's what's going to happen. So my advice to all the people that are on this platform that like steak and like gambling, if you're a bad gambler, don't gamble in jail unless you got the money to back it up, because it's going to be a bad day for you.
But like, this is going to sound a weird question. So when we watch the movies, sometimes we see that they try to punish some dudes by like being gay with them. Does that really happen? Is that real?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, that happens. If you're a bitch and you don't stand up for yourself, yeah, you could get turned out. You can get turned out and end up being one of the queens.
That is great. I just can't believe that. Shut up, RPG. Like, I was so, like, you know.
Here's the thing.
So
Let me put it this way. Would you rather get knocked the fuck out, or would you rather be somebody's bitch for the next 2 years?
I would rather go to sleep. Like, literally KO me.
That's where your respect is earned in there. Whether win, lose, or draw, and the only way it's a draw is it depends on the CO on duty, and if they're going to let it go until somebody's knocked out or until it just gets messy enough that they're like, all right, you guys are done. You stand your ground in there, because the second you show weakness in there is the second one of the booty bandits. That's what we called them, booty bandits. One of the booty bandits is going to come, he's going to turn you into a queen. And next thing you know, you're going to have your shirt tied up to here and you're going to be going, hey, thing. Yep.
So tell us the story then. What was like, can you tell me one crazy story that you experienced?
Craziest thing I seen, I was locked up with a dude named Zelafro. He was Aryan Brotherhood. He was Ace Trey. He was from Texas. He was locked up in there for doing a high-speed pursuit. He led the cops on a 14-mile high-speed chase. He was drunk as hell, got out of the car when they finally stopped him, took a piss, and then they took him down. But it was like his third strike. He was out. He was 42. He was a peckerwood. There's another name for him. You can look all this up. He had a woody woodpecker on his bicep. That's a Ace Trey thing, Aryan Brotherhood. He was my one of my cellmates, because they move you around quite a bit, especially if you're going in and out of Max Block or the Hole or the Shoe, which I was frequent there quite often because I didn't like to listen. But we were set up. There was a dude that came in, a little scrawny dude, pretty boy. Could tell he got his manicure, pedicures done. Early 20s, long hair, probably like 120 pounds soaking wet. He came on the block, real quiet. You could tell he was scared. You can just smell the fear. When you're in there long enough, like it just becomes second nature. You can tell who's scared shitless and who's not. And if you're predator and not prey, you can detect it a mile away. When he came on the block, you could tell he was scared shitless. He went and hid in his cell for like the first hour, and then he finally came out. And then that's when all of us started pressing him. You know, what you in for? What's your name? You know, and he would not tell anybody what he was in for. Red flags are going off. So, you know, a couple of the boys is going up to the CO. What's this dude in for? You know, he's telling us, you know, doing the old spiel, ain't none of your fucking business. Shut the fuck up. Back in your fucking cell. Mind your business. And I think they purposely put them in our block because we were medium block. We couldn't be. Everybody was on medium block. We can't be in gem pop, meaning we're troublemakers, meaning we're fight risks, we're injury risk. So they put you on medium block. You know, because on gem pop, that's where they keep all the pedophiles, just all the fucking weirdos, man. I think they purposely put him in there so we could deal with him because that's what happened. But long story short, he wouldn't give up the paperwork. And I shit you not, this is on my daughter's life. We're standing in dinner line to get our trays, and the news is on, 5 o'clock news, and we're all looking at it at the same time. And that dude's picture pops up on the news, and he is a youth pastor from a summer camp church. Or church summer camp, and he's been arrested for sodomizing 3 girls under the age of 14.
Joe.
Soon as we all seen that, Zelafro, who's real deal, this dude did a 10-year stint down in Dallas, okay? Ain't no joke. Aryan Brotherhood. It's a Peckerwood ace tray. He tells me, he said, get him to come upstairs, tell him you got some slides for him and some deodorant and toothpaste. I ain't going to tell him no. So he goes up to the hut. It's got the hut door cracked. I think Richards went up, he's a distant cousin of mine, Elliot. He's a second cousin of mine. Distant relation through my grandfather, but he was locked up with me. I think it was him that went up to the CO, Bailey, and told him he had 5 minutes to get that motherfucker off the block before it was going to get bad. And Bailey told him to shut the fuck up. And so I went down to the corner. He was in the corner little hut there. I think it was like 110, 112. And went in there, and I said, yo, new guy. I said, hey, they get you slides? Did you get your deodorant and your slides? And he was like, oh, let me check. It's like, no, I didn't get any. I said, oh, ain't that a bit? Dude, they always fuck that. Listen, we got you covered, man. He's like, really? And he was like, dude, thank you so much. I was like, oh, yeah, man, it ain't no thing. It ain't no thing, man. Just go up there. Go up there in 213. Marcelli Zelafro, he'll take care of you, bro. By that time, that may have been a 10-minute span. Zelafro, and what if you don't know, is a lot of the bed sheets that they give you in prison, they've got a high tensile strength. If you rip them down to nice strands and everything and tie them together, that's why you hear about people noosing themselves and everything like that. He tied it. He got it to the base of the toilet. Okay. He got it to the base of the toilet because he wrapped it around the head, and he got him in there. He got it around his neck, and between the toilet and the tier railing was probably about 8 foot, but he had made enough length that it was probably 12 foot, 13 foot. And, dude, he fucking some WWE shit, bro. He had that motherfucker like a fireman's carry on his shoulders, and he just fucking right over the tier. That motherfucker, I don't know how his neck didn't break, but it didn't. And he went over the tier, and he was kicking, as we say, he was kicking like a chicken. And, yeah.
Whoa,
yeah, needless to say, we were our unit was locked down for an entire week. But yeah, he was doing the kicking chicken. But and then Zelafro, they kept him in the hole until they transported him to Camp Hill to another prison.
But do you think he got in trouble for that, or like the cops were just like, that's a problem?
I know he had a hearing with the warden. He probably got some time added on for that, I'm sure. But the amount, who knows? We couldn't even really talk to him at that point because, like, once you go to max, unless you've got somebody on the chow line on the inside to get notes back and forth, or kites as we call them. If you can't get a kite back and forth, it's kind of like no man's land. You have no way of.
I have two more questions for you. Number one, again, these are just crazy questions. Number one is, did you ever have the idea, like Prison Break? Like, can we work out how to escape?
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is no. That's, you'd be stupid to do that. I don't care if you're like, if I was getting 5 to 10, there ain't no way I'm thinking about running. And the only way I would even think about that is if I knew 1,000% there is not even a 0.00001% of failure that I could get away, get out of the country, and get to a country where I could not be extradited, because that's a big thing as well. Like, you'd be... I knew a couple guys that got work release, and they were there was one dude that was on work release that he was doing like a year, and he got work release, and like the second week he got work release, he took off, and then they got him like 4 days later, and he got 5 years tacked on for that. So what was a year turned into additional 5 years. Like, yeah, no.
So they give you
I
extra
wouldn't.
years when you try to escape. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're gonna send you to the worst place possible. No.
He had friends days. He said he was in a group. He had friends. So
No, you wouldn't.
how did you feel when they said, okay, today's the day, you will be released?
Scared. I was more scared than excited. I was scared because I didn't want to fuck up. I was definitely scared, and I was definitely institutionalized for. It took me like 3-4 years, even though I'd only been in there for about like 2 years. I was institutionalized for sure. Like, I remember the first time I went into a Walmart, once it was all said and done, and I thought I was going to pass out and have a panic attack because of how many people there were, and that there was, just the openness of everything. Like, the world seems so much bigger. It's crazy what it does to your mind, man. It's wild. It really is. Like, I remember the dude who was transporting me, right? Because as I said, when they released me, I wasn't fully released. Now, I didn't do a thing they called drug court. It was called, I was to follow through. They evaluated me. And the deal is I was to follow through with all treatment and psychological recommendations. And I had to complete whatever they recommended. I was a little, and my cellie, Zelafro, had told me before I got evaluated, he was like, lie your ass off, or he was like, they're going to add a whole nother year or two on because they'll stick you through all this programming. And but I'm glad, like hindsight, I'm glad I was honest, because I truthfully believe if I had not been honest, I may not have stayed clean. And I was honest. I told them, they were like, when did your drug problems start? Do you have anger issues? Like, I was completely honest when I got evaluated, and they said I needed intensive everything. And they had to send me to a dual diagnosis facility, which I guess there's like not very many of those when it comes to like rehabilitation programming centers, because they have to deal with the psych side and the drug side. And that day I got released, the guy that was driving me from the treatment facility, he said, listen, man, I'm going to keep it a buck with you right off. He was a real cool, he was real cool. He was like, I'm going to keep it a buck. You need to get smokes or anything? And I was like, yeah. I was like, would that be okay? And he's like, yeah, I'll take you down and go get smokes. He's like, can you do me a favor? If you're going to hop out, please do not hop out of the vehicle while it's moving. If you're going to run, I don't care. I'm not going to snitch on you. I'll just let them know when I arrive at the facility. I've been through this too many times. He was like, so please do not hop out of the vehicle while it's moving, and just give me a heads up now if you're planning on running, because I just don't want to deal with the stress. And I mean, I can just drop you off wherever you need, and then, as long as it's on the way, I'll just let them know and you can get a little head start. And I was like, is this guy for real? And then I asked him, I was like, how many people have you had run? And he's like, dude, too many to count. I've been doing this for 5 years. And I was like, damn. I was like, so it's really like that? He was like, I would say 1 out of every 10 guys I pick up throughout the week run. And I was like, damn. And it'd be stupid to run, because here's what happens if I would have ran. Number one, I would have been absconding. It would have been considered, and they consider it, fleeing and eluding an escape, because they are signing me over to the care of the facility, but I am still an inmate of that facility until I complete the program successfully, until I get a successful medical discharge. So at any time, if I ran from the facilities, the halfway house, the 3/4 house, any of it, they're going to arrest me. And when they get me, they're going to take away all my time served, all my street time.
All over again.
It starts all over again.
No
plus all the new charges.
So lucky you didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Okay,
had to
but
complete.
again,
I had to complete 7. Go ahead.
I gotta ask the hard questions, man. So do you ever feel judged for this?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Throughout my employment dealings, I think a definite yes. Because there's been times, because like I went to college for mass media, public relations, directing, screenwriting, and filmmaking, right, and radio broadcasting, and I minored in ancient and medieval civilizations. Okay, I've went to get positions within that career field, and I've knocked interviews out of the park, phenomenally. And a great example is I almost got a job with KDKA Broadcasting, which is our local news station's a radio channel. Wow. I made it through the process, and that would have been starting out about a 60 to 80,000 a year job. And at that time, my daughter was almost 2. That would have been like life changing for me and my family at that point. And I nailed the interview, knocked it out of the park, did the second interview, knocked it out of the park, did the drug test, obviously knocked that out of the park. Then it went to the criminal background, and I was completely honest up front. I was like, hey, it's from over 5 years ago. It's almost at the 7-year mark. I'm not this guy. I had merits of recommendations from, active duty military people that I knew throughout my life that I had built, relationships with. I had the dean of students of a university, for, recommendation of character. And speaking on how I've spoken to university students on, staying clean and staying away from drugs. And it was an immediate less than 24 hours no. And I know for a fact all they did is they ran the background, they seen felon, and they said, no, we're not hiring him. So all they see is a piece of paper and a charge. They don't see the person. And I wish that, and I get it, but I think things should be on a case-to-case basis. You know what I mean? I feel not everybody is a bad guy. People can change. But
that's true. If they close the door completely, then it's saying to the other guys, what's the point in changing?
Go get a piece of candy. You can get a popsicle.
Let's bring it back. So you went to DreamHack, you said, right?
Yes. I've been to 2 of them. I went to Dallas last year. It was a great experience, but terrible experience. And I went to Atlanta.
So what's it like? What's DreamHack like? Let's talk about the big one. Dallas is the big one, right?
I feel Dallas, I don't know. It's hard. It's like a toss-up. They were both awesome. There are a lot of kick creators at those events. I feel Atlanta was smaller, in my opinion. I feel like Dallas was way bigger. But if you really want to get to network, it's a great opportunity. It's also a great opportunity to get to meet other kick creators and viewers, because a lot of people from kick attend. Sorry, my dog's like being up my butt. Lay down, buddy. But yeah, DreamHack. Yeah, he's not that big. He's the size of like a pit bull or a lab. He's just standing on the sectional arm, so it makes him seem like he's massive. It's definitely an event that I think if you enjoy content creating, if you enjoy kick or any platform, it's a great opportunity to meet creators that you like and also like minds, viewer and creator alike. And it's also a great chance to get to meet people like Andrew, Paulie, a lot of the staff members. I always forget his name, who runs their kick community Twitter, but I've met him twice now. But yeah, it's a really, really cool experience. Unless your luggage gets stolen in the parking lot, like me when I was with Girthy. That was terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. That was a bad day.
No, I think it's fun. I told you, I would like to go if there's a kick con. I wish they would do a
dude.
kick
Oh,
con.
yeah, dude. If they did a kick con, I think it would be super successful at this point. I think the turnout would be very good. And I think, honestly, if they picked a location like Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, somewhere in there, or even Texas, I feel like that's like a nice middle point, at least for the people that are in the U.S. And they could even do it like what they do with DreamHacks, where they have one in Australia, they have one, Germany, wherever it was. or Stockholm. Was it Stockholm? Is where they had that one?
Yeah,
the one that was in. Okay, yeah. And they're having one in China now too. I thought I saw. I think they're having one in China.
I saw them talking about that.
Yeah, so I think they could definitely do something like that for Kick. You know what I mean? Where do 2 or 3 of them, have one, one in the US for sure, and maybe one at a midpoint somewhere in Europe for all the European, creators to get over there. I've seen your one comment. I'm heading to the gooning section.
Of KickCon, oh my. Yeah, because they all think I'm obsessed with watching Wood Baby because I put I started a joke on Nick
she's
White.
Cool. I've met her. She's cool.
Yeah, but if you ever seen the videos, you know what I do with the clips. Like I find the horny clips and I put it. I originally put it because of Nick White and Gary to trick them out, but then somewhere along the line, people believe it's me now. They believe it's me going and looking for these clips. It's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. So let's just stay on the hard stuff, right? So, what do you think? I'm gonna ask a hard question, right? If Kick ends tomorrow, I don't want to be that Debbie Downer, but if Kick ends tomorrow, what are you doing?
I've had this conversation with numerous people in my mods and admins, and I'm a Debbie Downer, a pessimist, and I'll be like, "That's it. If this place is gone, that's it. I'm done. I quit. I ain't doing it again. I ain't doing it a 4th time. I ain't rebuilding from scratch again. I ain't doing it." But honestly, I say that I wouldn't do it. But I mean, realistically, I would most definitely. I mean, if it ended abruptly or in a term where, and I don't think this will happen, but like say they announce like 90 days we're shutting down, like I would absolutely be getting on the employment line, getting another full-time job out in the working, outside working field. And then from there, I would, whether it would be TikTok or whatever, and I would work on just building at that location until I could get to a point where I was at. But I feel like with where my community's at now, it would probably be a very quick process. So, I mean, I say because I'm a Debbie Downer and I'm just like, throw a hissy fit. I say that it'd be like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it again. That's it. But I have so much time invested in so many people and so many community members.
Dude, you
I feel like
this,
I couldn't give up.
You saying this, I spoke to the people. Some of the people are here right now, and they were saying to me, "We good." I told them, "Okay, no." I said, "Okay, guys, we need to move somewhere if Kick ends," and they were saying to me, "We good." Like we if it ends, we also end, and we don't go with you, which was crazy to me. Which was crazy.
Oh, that's what they said. Yeah, that's what that's what I mean. That's the. Because here's my thing, and I may be speaking out of pocket towards, your community and your viewership, but it feels like for a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people say that, they're like, if Kick's done, that's it. I'm done. I ain't doing this anymore. Kick feels like this was, for a lot of people, including myself, Kick felt like, all right, this is the last place I'm given a chance because it's supposed to, this is supposed to be the place where I can get an opportunity and get optics on myself and my community and may open opportunities for me. And I feel that a lot of people on this platform are those people that have hopped and hopped and hopped. And it's like, dude, if this one goes, that's it. I'm done. I ain't doing this no more.
Can I have the
Yeah. Yep.
Would you ever take a steak deal and gamble?
If the money is right. I have a child, so if the money was right. But at the same time, like I say, with the money being right, I also take into account the viewership that I would most likely lose. You know what I mean? Because you have to think, if you become a contracted streamer like that, you're going to have to do, depending on the amount of money, you're going to have to be doing X amount of stream, X amount of hours, X amount times a week. There's going to be people that are there to see my IRL content. There's going to be people that are there to see my just chatting. There's going to be people there to see, wholesome content with me and my daughter, whatever it may be. It's a turnoff to that general populace of viewers that I just all listed, because gambling is a definite niche viewership, and you could lose community members doing. At least I feel I would lose community members. So, like I said, the money would have to be right on that basis.
For me personally, it depends. Like, I spoke to David Steak. This is the guy that gives everyone steak deals.
Right.
And this guy was like, you need to hustle. Like, you need X amount of signings every single month.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's like my T-Boo sponsorship then. Like, yeah, if you want to keep the free goodies going, you got to have X amount of signups a month.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Then, what are some issues that you see in Kick?
Issues that I see within Kick. I mean, me personally, with myself, I don't have very many issues like on my end. But on a whole, I would like to see, and this is just me personally, I would love to see more advertising and more promoting. Not saying within the streams, like, oh, I want advertisements on my stream, but I'm saying, like, I want to see more of us getting that name out there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I feel like when I go on, if I do like a Google search, somewhere within that Google search, I'm going to see something that relays or connects me to Twitch, or relays or connects me to TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, all these other platforms. And it's like, we need that more. Yeah. We need more optics on us.
I was saying that they haven't tapped into all the markets. Like, see, like how it's nice how you said Asia is going to have DreamHack. Because, like, they haven't done anything with Asia. The Korean market, Japanese market, Chinese market. Like what they've done with Spain, not Spain, but the Brazil and the Spanish speakers. Like how they brought so many people, and now they did the Middle East, right?
Go ahead.
So, like, that is the issue I see right now. Is like, I think more word of mouth, more like, or like on the ground. I mean, events and things like this.
Do I like fish sticks? No, I like chicken sticks. Sorry, somebody asked me if I like fish sticks. I like chicken sticks.
So, what do you think about ads?
Here's my thing, and you've been in. It sounds like you've been in the game long enough, and I think your viewership, along with my viewership, a lot of people will probably remember this. But back 2021, it's either 2021, 2022. Twitch did this campaign where you were going to have, as the creator, supposed full control of your ads. You could pick and choose, shut them off, turn them on. Full range of motion and control. And that was absolutely not the case. When it comes to ads, I feel ads are good as long as it tailors to the creator and their content and their viewership, i.e. and meaning, if I'm doing ads for a company, the way my community is, it better be for like, 1-800 escorts, some sort of video game, some sort of sport, even movies. But I think ads should have I think ads are a must, but I also think the creators should be able to have full range and control, and also somehow have the control of what ads are dropping. They have to be relevant ads to the creator themselves.
True. Like if they gave us, like, for, let's say for me, right, they gave me a car wash. It makes no sense.
Right, exactly. Like if I have an ad for women's tampons, that's going to make a whole bunch of sense, right? Like that's just an example, but like that literally is the far stretched stuff that you see on other platforms that have ads. You'll have this stuff that it doesn't compute, you know what I mean? It doesn't have any relation to the content creator or what content they're about or doing. Like it'll be a car commercial. Like the streamer never leaves their desk. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked about ads. I've asked the chat about ads. And all of them say they don't like it to be like Twitch where it's automated. They want it to be manually. Like if you go into the restroom, you hit the ad.
Exactly. And I that's they said it perfectly. That's how I've put it a few times in speaking with my community and everything. I said I'd be all for it if, I don't run a single ad my entire stream, but it gets to that 4 or 6 hour mark where I need to use the bathroom and let the dog out or feed the kid. So I need to step away for 10, 15 minutes real quick. And I run some ads, and I can run something on WWE because I do wrestling content, and I can run something on the new comic book movie because I do IRL comic book shops, and I can run those ads during my break instead of it just being a BRB screen after the clip roll's done rolling after 10 minutes and there's still that additional 5 minutes. But I can control and pick, and then as soon as I get back, no more ads. I turn it off.
Yeah, that's a very good option. You said comic books, right? So do you do like a comic book stream?
Yeah.
I
got my buddy owns the local comic book shop over here in town. It's been 28 years over in this area, and I have a very good friendship with him. And number one, I'm all for small businesses. Number two, I'm a massive comic book fan, anime fan, manga fan, Gunpla, which are Gundam models, straight nerd, weeb, whatever you want to call it. But I go and I promote his shop, and I go over there. I talk comics. I show the new comics that have come out for that week. We talk about anything that's been going on in the comic book, anime, movie entertainment industry. And normally I go over there twice a week. Once a week it's normally Wednesdays, which is the new comic book day weekly, and I show all the new releases and I talk about them. And then on Saturday it's just kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get or what we're going to be talking on or showing. And so just started doing that content one day.
I only remember, back in the days when people used to buy the Marvel ones, and they used to try to like keep it as collector editions and put it in the plastic and.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just an example. Like, see, I have one sitting right here. This is filled with comic books that have come out in the last 3 months. It's filled to the brim. But just show comic books, talk about them, talk about the artists, talk about the story arcs that are going on. And currently in the industry, this is one of the most successful, fruitful parts of the industry that they have seen in almost 20 years. It's a really good time if you're into comic books or you've never been into comic books and you want to get into good stories, captivating stories. This is the best the market has ever been in a very, very long time.
So it makes sense why you want to go to Japan too, because Japan manga, the
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I've been there twice. Once when I was 14 and 16, but it was with my uncle, and he was there for business, and I was only there for 3 days both times. I was in Tokyo and I was in Osaka, and both times were for business. I was there for 3 days. Practically spent the majority of the time in the hotel because he was doing business meetings, and yeah, that's so I never really got to like fully go out and experience it. I definitely want to. I hope I get to one day, but you know, there'll be other chances. That's one thing I'm learning in life is that where one opportunity passes, sometimes it works out that multiple other ones show up down the road that are sometimes even better and more beneficial. So
yeah, maybe in the future you can do it in the future. Now.
Right.
We're almost done. So 2 years you've been streaming, and you recently celebrated your 2 years on Kick.
Yep.
So what you got to say to the people?
What do I have to say to the people?
Yeah, like let's say
what if
someone
they're
right
getting
now,
into if they're getting into streaming?
I'll open it bigger for you. Like Lando, for example. Lando does DJ streams. Like people like that have been streaming maybe less than 2 years. Like this.
Okay. Yeah, I've been streaming a total of 5 altogether, but I've been on Kick 2. I would say if you're coming to this platform, number one, try and find your niche. Try and find what not very many people are doing or there's very little of. Or try and do something that nobody else is doing. And sometimes it can be the smallest thing to the biggest thing. And that's one of the biggest factors. And be yourself. I think that, in my opinion, and this is just personal, the character streamers, yeah, they're all great and everything. But when you're more grounded and closer to who you are as a person, that's when you get the best communities and the best type of people around you, because they can relate to you and they enjoy your candor and they enjoy your character. Whether you're a degen and an asshole, or whether you're a mellow dude or mellow chick, just keep it a buck is the best that you can, because that's where I think people thrive. But the key that key thing is don't be, and it's no offense, and I know this could be, I know there's always going to be somebody that takes it the wrong way. We've already got plenty of Call of Duty streamers. We've already got plenty of Fortnite streamers, okay? Don't depend on that and think in your mind that this is how you're going to become successful. Unless you're a top 500 in the world, okay, when it comes to those games. Don't depend on that to be, this is how I'm going to get found, because the chances of that happening are slim to none, because that category is already filled and saturated through the roof. If you're going to do something original, or do something that nobody else is doing. I don't care if it's driving a garbage truck. I haven't seen nobody do that yet. If you're a garbage guy for a living, put a fucking chest harness on and fucking go sling some fucking garbage, dude. I'll watch that shit. I want to see what's in people's garbage. I want to see the fucking garbage job you do every day. Like, pun intended, but for real, if you want it, go out there and get it and really dedicate to it. You can't half-ass it.
Because I used to watch Gertie when he was driving the truck. You are right what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. People want, like when I was at the vape shop and the glass shop, that was before Louis was doing that. I was the original one doing that on the platform. And then I got fucking fired because I fucking snapped out on an asshole. But hey, whether here nor there, that was good content. But whether here nor there, I was providing a behind the scenes look of running a marijuana pipe shop and a vape juice shop, and nobody else was doing that. Nobody at that time. And everybody got to see me dealing with the customers, the behind the scenes, talking with the owner, hanging out in the back. You know what I mean? At the time I was still using my medical card for my PTSD, so people would see me skeeved out of my mind selling pipes. So it's just, but it was unique content. But what ultimately what I'm getting at is if you're going to do this, dedicate to it. You can't do it half-ass. It's very few and far between that it's going to happen like that. That's like a 1 in a million. Realistically, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to grind for it. Ruff. Hey, I'm Ruff is a great example. Ruff was doing this for 8 years, 10 years. And I mean, yes, he already had like a successful community, but the level he's at, he had to pay his dues. He had to put his time in until he finally got his big break. You know what I mean? And that's normally all creators' stories. It's very few and far between that you're going to be a Mizkiff, or you're going to be an iShow Speed, or you're going to be a Neon. And hitting on that, I will say this. Leeching is part of the content world, especially when it comes to IRL content creating. Anything in the IRL, leeching is a real thing, a clout chasing, clout grabbing, whatever you want to call it. It's a real thing. I'm surprised somebody hasn't been able to atomize clout yet and turn it into a physical object with how much it's a crucial survival tool in success in this industry. But set yourself up like what I am doing right now. I'm collaborating. You know what I mean? This is what you need to do, is build those associations, business relationships, and possibly friendships. Now, it's not always going to happen because, as I said, I recommend always try and keep your circle as small as possible. But there's always opportunity to grow there. The more that you, for me, go out of my comfort zone and meet more people, and that goes for anybody. The more that you network, the more that you get along with more people in this industry and your fellow creators, and you position yourself to be like, oh yeah, I've done a stream with him before. Yeah, he's good people. Oh yeah, I've worked with her before. Yeah, great people. You want to build that good reputation in that relationship, because that's going to set you up for success down the road, because you never know who you may interact with. They may be the key to your career, because they may get that clout and be like, hey, I remember I collabed with Kick Clips, and the dude was really cool. You know what? I'm going to reach out to him. I think he'd be great for this thing we're doing. And then next up, that thing happens to be with Adinross, and it becomes one of the most successful, stream series, of the platform that year. And then, viewership grows exponentially. Network. I think people say that word, and that's what I'm getting at. People say that word too lightly, and they think networking is just going in somebody's chat, saying, hey, I'm wishing you a good day, or hey, I got a tab up. I think people have a misconception of what network is. No, networking is what me and Clips are doing right now. This is what networking is. It's getting to know one another and creating content together and bouncing off one another. That's what networking is.
I think I actually have to do more of this. You are right what you're saying. Because I sometimes
Yeah.
I put myself in this bubble. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, because when I first started streaming, I had don't drop names in the chat. I had a dude where like I thought we would grow together, and dude just turned on me like really badly. And then after that, I just didn't, so I put myself in this bubble. So, and I know even Quillians has been trying to push me to like, do stuff with other people.
Yep. And that's the key thing. I have seen, and I'm gonna use his name, even though I know he's kind of been out for a while. But Girthy Gorilla is a great example of real networking. He put himself in a position, and how he put himself in a position is because he networked. He went. He collabed with people. He hung out in their discords during their streams and was entertaining within their content, and then next thing you know, Girthy's on Amorous stream. Girthy's doing Hunger Games, Scavenger Hunt, Fear Factor. He's doing all these things. That's a great example. You have to network. You have to do more than just go in somebody's chat. You know what I mean? You have to put that olive branch out there and be like, hey, I see you play the same game as me. Let's get together one of these times and let's do like a 2-hour, collab together. Or, hey, you're pretty comedic, like a Mando. Mando's pretty comedic, in my opinion. Hey, I would love it if I could get you on a Discord call while I'm out IRL and you talk shit in my Discord voice chat as you watch my stream. Talk shit to the people that I walk by. You know what I mean? Like, create content. Think outside the box.
Facts, facts. And actually, yeah, on that point, yeah, in April, when I got the computer, we can do more things. We can play them games.
There you go.
So yeah, that's the thing. It's like, the problem is I just don't have, the setup to do it. But yeah, in April, I think it'll get a lot better. Okay. One last thing. Would you take part in another Ice Poseidon event, like Squid Games, for example?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even though it's scuffed, and the reason I say this is the proof is in the pudding. My viewership went up exponentially. My following went up exponentially. My subscription base went up exponentially. My optics went up exponentially. When you involve yourself with an event of his, as long as you're not like the biggest fucking retard in the world, which I mean there are a lot of them, but you can set yourself up to get some optics on yourself and get your chance to shine, just because of his status and clout. And as I said, atomized clout, he's got a fucking gold mine of it. And what you see in Japan right now, that's what all them guys and girls are doing. And anybody that's hating on him, I got it. Blurps. Anybody that's hating on these people, in my personal opinion, if you're hating on them for being there, it's just you're hating it because you're not taking the leap and the opportunity to go do something. Now, granted, if I was there, I wouldn't be spending as much time. I would be trying and just going with groups of people, not necessarily him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be with him every stream, every day. Like, oh, I got to follow him here. I got to follow him there. I would try and branch out and pair up and do different content with different people. But yeah, I would absolutely. I mean, my experience, and I think people give him a hard time. I know the other day he had that clip, okay, where he was like, Taman's a tool. Look, he's just a businessman, okay? All right? He's business through and through. He has to be that way. It just is what it is, and that's the industry. But for anybody out there, and I do want to speak on this personally, my personal experience with him behind the scenes on the Hunger Games with my cancer issues and my health issues, that dude, yeah, you could think on the aspect, well, he just didn't want to get a lawsuit or anything. No, he genuinely, we had extended conversations in DMs, genuinely was concerned for my well-being, being that I was a parent and a single father and had a severe medical issue, and he wanted to make sure that I would be able to participate. And he was completely transparent, like, bro, what are you going to do if this happens? Are you going to be able to handle it? Are you going to be okay? Can you get something from your doctor to give me reassurance? So if the dude is if the if the dude was such a heartless fucking asshole, he wouldn't have done what he did in my case. So that's just one thing I want to add on.
Get that. Like character, like the things he's doing with Taman, I think is character.
But he is a good character. I've met Kimmy. I've met him. Like, he is a good character, dude. You know, and content is content. But you know, he is not this mongrel people make him out to be. He really isn't, in my personal experience. So
yeah, I feel like it's just Japanese Twitter, man. Japanese Twitter needs, also the YouTubers need somebody to hate for the algorithm. Damn, why is it working nicely now? I open up Discord and the camera's perfect. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, man. Maybe just lag. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Please go check out Lonewolffancub. Link is pinned. I'm also going to hit you up again after this. Most likely tomorrow. I'm going to work on the YouTube video, and then I'll drop the link to you when it's ready. But as I said, don't forget, in April, I'm going to hit you up for like other stuff, like gaming stuff, and we'll try and do something together. Oh yeah,
for sure, man. For sure. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. It's been an honor to be on with you, collab with you.
You came here.
It's been fun.
You talked about things I had no idea about, you know, and you actually taught the chat a lot of things about life, dude, not only about streaming, which is, yeah, you to W, dude, for coming here and like talking about these things. You to W for doing that.
I appreciate it, man. And dude, you're a W too, man. Like I say all the time, I watch all your clips all the time. You know what I mean? And like I said, I told you this when you were in my chat the one day, and I know they're kind of like your rival or whatever, but I know, because I watch you, I know what your content is. A lot of times you make your YouTube video and then you go over it on your content and you talk about in depth what's going on in the clips and what the behind the scenes story is. And I have very much respect for you that when I do that, because like I told you earlier on, when I do my lunch, normally I do just chatting and I go over what's going on in the content world. I never play your clips. I watch your clips off stream, but I never play them on stream because I don't want to take away from your content, because that is your content. Even though it's out there and it's free game technically, I have enough respect for you as a coworker, as a fellow creator, that is your content, that is your bread and butter, and you know, I'm just a passerby in that world because I do it on my lunchtime. You do it as your whole content. So, but you keep doing what sorry. I
gotta set up these blurbs, dude. He has so many of these blurbs.
Yeah, they flood me. It's worse in IRL.
Man, these blurbs sounds really good. Sounds really good.
It's worse in IRL. Imagine that walking around in public and that shit's going off.
So he's got the Johnny Somali effect, the TTS, they're coming after it.
Dude, they were this morning telling the Dunkin' Donuts cashier that I had them locked up in my car or something like that and help them. It's bad, dude.
gotta like
It's-
blow it and tell him, don't listen. So I get to
yeah. I just keep going like, I'm sorry, and I'm with my kid on top of that, and then I have my one mod sitting there saying, yeah, this fucking bitch can't even get his order right. Fuck you, dumbass. Oh fuck.
And the chat as well, they also liked you. Please go follow him as well, okay? You go follow him. I actually
Appreciate it. Same to my chat as well. If you're not following Kick Clips, please do. As well,
guys.
he's your recaps on X and Twitch, right?
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah.
for everybody, but yeah, I decided to create the recaps brand because then I can cover like Twitch and YouTube and more than just Kick.
I think that's great because that's still like me as I'm solely a Kick creator, but still that information, it's interesting to me. It's like you said, it's looking into a world that, I may never, or a lifestyle I may never be in. So it's interesting seeing those other platform highlighted clips. So, but dude, you keep doing what you're doing, man, because I mean, to me, you're a big dog on here, man. You're the one that covers all the big clips and everything, and you do a great job. And I think you're very professional, man. And I think you're gonna have a successful career in this field.
Let's
Just
see,
keep
though.
doing what you're
Let's
doing.
see. From April, I'm like you. I start to do it full time, which is gonna be scary. But at least like when I look at people like you, who's been doing it for 2 years, it makes me like positive that it's a possibility.
Yeah,
so-
I've been doing it total of 5 years, and 2 years on Kick. And I mean, like, come on, dude. Like I said, I just shared it with you. And I say it all the time. And I said it in that non-tank clip that you showed the other day. Like, bro, I am literally an ex-thief, like scumbag junkie. And I've interacted with ICE, Girthy, all these different people. I've had Eddie in numerous times, and it's like, I'm a nobody dirtbag, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I mean, I'm nothing. I'm a pissant. So there's people that, can far exceed what I'm doing. You just gotta put your bootstraps to the ground and go do it. So
thanks. Okay, see you, Mr. Lone Wolf. As again, I say thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great one.
So guys, that was a